Oh, can you hear me? Let me know, guys. Can you hear me now? Okay, because the microphone had been turned on. Okay, all right. So we are all set to get started, and so much new. Oh, okay. Okay, 1 second. I'm gonna block here the view. 1 second. Okay. All right. Oh my God, Denmark. That's crazy. Wow. Sia is from Denmark. Wow, that's amazing. Wow. It's amazing. So nice to see everyone. I so crazy. I was thinking what else, because you never know. I was away. I was running errands. I sort of rushed back and I thought, maybe have I missed some big news? Because you never know. Sometimes so much stuff happens in an hour in terms of news that it's crazy. Oh my God, Sia, that's amazing that you've come all the way. That's not have come all the way, but that you log in from so far. Thank you. It's cool that you, wow, crazy. Oh my God. So guys, tonight, so anyway, like I said, I wonder if, I don't think there have been any super huge breaking news since 2 hours ago. Okay. And I'm thinking many people have mentioned a reading on the economy. Okay. So let me know if there's anything else you would like to look at, because another issue that's come up too is I feel like the whole thing with the fake FBI memos. Some people feel like it's getting bigger. You know how the Nunes is like saying that he has some sort of memo that's like a fake memo. Okay, so there's that. Okay, and yeah, the so-called missing texts, right? Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, bullshit. And what else? Well, I guess I can share it if Barbara doesn't mind. And I think Barbara was having an interesting discussion about Melania. And because I had brought up Melania, just because it would have been sort of like a different, maybe a reading away from people who are necessarily super directly involved with everything. Okay, and also, I don't know, she seems to be an outsider in some way. And she made some I suggest you hi Barbara, yes. So just discussing she had some interesting points about Melania. I agree with you guys. I don't think she's very particularly relevant, especially for now, but I suggest, if you haven't, I think her comment is in the another tab. Like I forgot, the last post. It was very interesting. She has a lot of knowledge about this form of therapy that's like looking into the past history. And I remember I've done this one time, or I've learned about this, and it's very interesting because we're so like the group together, finding out stories about things that we don't necessarily know a lot about. So it's fascinating. It's very interesting. I have to look into it more, Barbara, because I connect with many of the things you're saying. Okay. And what else, guys? So there's that. Okay. So one interesting, so two things I think are up in the air a lot. So I think it's the economy. Okay. We looked at what's happening at Davos yesterday. So all of the drama is like unfolding over there. And then we have the economy. And I was thinking about the economy reading. Many people asked about the stock market. So the stock market, I think is a subset of the economy, because I feel like somebody asked me on YouTube, can you do a reading on the inflation? And I'm thinking the inflation, that's too specific. the way that I think what we've been doing is first we start with the bigger general, and then we break it into smaller parts. So if we wanted to look at the stock market, it would be interesting to look at the economy overall, and even maybe do a timeline on the economy. Okay, first do something like a general reading and ask about advice and what we should prepare for, and those kinds of things. And then break it down month by month, sort of, okay? For every couple months or something like that. Because I feel like I was like, oh my God, I'm kind of scared. And I saw Lena, was it Fernandez? I forgot her last name, but Rodriguez. Yeah, so she had done a reading on the economy, and somebody mentioned that she said something very nice at the end. She said that I had done the reading on what is it called? The NRA, you know, the whole thing, the moment when I looked at the bubble, yes, the moment when I looked at what Muller is going to find is like this connection between this basically shadow banking system. And so what I've been thinking about, and that is why I was thinking, why am I scared? Okay. And I was thinking, it's scary because I have this feeling, and I think this is why I think maybe it's time to look at it. I have this feeling that Muller, as he investigates this whole thing, he's going to find some sort of connection to the economic system or stock market. And as he pulls everything out, it's like it might deflate something. It's a little bit like a souffle, right? It's like if the moment you take it out of the oven, it like kind of, you know, it loses the strength a little bit. Okay, so, or I'm trying to think something like that. Yeah, it's like it deflates basically, because I feel like, and you know what I was thinking too? Remember how like Trump was always like, oh, look how great the economy is going, how great the stock market is going. I honestly wonder if there's a degree of inflation. You know what I mean? Something about it feels false to me. And it might be that we're living at a time when the wealth is very unevenly distributed, right? Where people who make a lot of money make tons of money, and people who are sort of lower don't make as much and are going to be making increasingly less. So anyway, exactly. Or Patty Jo said, or pulling the thread that unravels the whole thing. Exactly. So that's my concern. So, okay. So 2019. Okay. So I'm thinking of how we get started. I was thinking of doing one sort of like relatively simple reading that starts with what are going to be the consequences to the economy of Trump and the Mueller investigation in 2018. Okay, start there, and then after this, we show the spread. Then ask, what should we prepare for? What's your advice? And what's a positive element out of this? Okay, because I feel like if I say those kinds of things, it scares me too. Okay, to say something like, oh, look, everything's going down, blah, 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 like, because we don't, right? It's not like we have, you know what I mean? It's just by nature, it's a kind of like a scary topic. So I feel like it's easier to break it down first in a general, and then having these like advice and positive and something like that, and then go into the months. Okay, because I was thinking, so if I have 4 cards, there are 12 months, and there are 36 Lenormand cards. So if I do 4 cards per month, I think it will be pretty long, but I think they will give us an interesting outlook, but not before we do a kind of a general overview. Okay, because I feel like those kinds of like knowing bad things without knowing what's around them, that's when I think it gets a little scary. Okay. So yeah, I remember I worked at, well, I guess I could say that I work at Citi and Morgan Stanley. And I remember the day where when those things were kind of like, you're like looking at the stock, it was kind of funny. Not funny. No, it wasn't funny, but it was crazy. So anyway, so I remember this well. And that's why I feel like in a way, this whole thing reminds me of that time. You know, a lot of things about tech remind me about that. I mean, I wasn't paying attention to tech at that time, but I remember the mortgage stocks and even the finance stocks that they were saying they were overpriced, and there was an analyst at the time. I remember her name was Meredith. I forgot her last name. Her first name was Meredith. And she was even supposedly getting death threats when she was saying that the city stock was overvalued by, and then it lost 90% of its value after that. So anyway, I feel like I'm oversharing. You know, it's a little bit like that. I guess I'm just telling this, I guess a personal little story. Anyway, so let's get started. Let's get started on this. And I'm going to ask the cards about the economy, because I feel like if I, and I want to talk about why ask about Trump and the Mueller investigation, because I think, like I said, it's always helpful to understand context, because you love all you, yeah, because you know what, I feel like context is a little bit helpful, because if we, it's sort of like, if we see, oh, this is bad or that's bad, I think if we understand the why or how everything is connected, then okay, I'm very interesting. Yeah, I feel like I'm almost too interesting, you know. So anyway, it's kind of, yeah, I don't know, it's kind of crazy. I've learned to accept myself, I guess, you know, because it's hard, that because I have so many different, almost like opposing sides at it from above. We can look at it from above. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So let me look at this. What's going to happen in the American, let's say, start with the American economy as a result of Trump and the Mueller investigation. No, what's no? What's no, Maggie? Okay. So what, are you okay? Maggie, are you okay? Is everything okay? No? You don't want it? The reading? What's happening? Anyway, so I'm going to ask, okay, so what's going to happen to the American, let's be positive, you guys. What's going to happen to the American economy as a result of Trump and the Mueller investigation that's going on about Trump and the outcome of the Mueller investigation in 2018? Also, please tell us your advice and what we should prepare for, and what are the positive things to come out of this, which could be a difficult moment. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So tell us. Okay. Interesting. Interesting, because Michelle said you validate a lot of feelings intuitively. You know what I was thinking too? That someone else mentioned something similar, that don't feel as alone, and that it's almost like I think we were all intuiting different things in our own minds and in our own space, but it's hard to verbalize it because it's not necessarily about the clues, because I think the clues make sense, but it's not about that. You know what I mean? It's not about facts necessarily. It's just about what we're all feeling, what we are all seeing in a different way, right? Okay, so tell us about the American economy. What's going to happen as a consequence of the Mueller investigation? Interesting, guys. But no, I find it very interesting, the group. Okay, the energy and what happens, and the fact that I was talking to Christy earlier, but basically what happens as a result of this, right? That even the fact that I post the links, but we don't necessarily do the links, it's sort of like it feels that it happens organically. I feel like it's like feel what's in the air. Okay, so well, just give us advice and all kinds of things. Thank you. Okay. All right, so let's see what's happening. Let's see, yeah, because I'm like, woo. Sorry, guys. I just wanna look at the card before I say something, because I don't want to get so, kind of. scared or whatever. I'm going to push this away so I have more room on the table here. Okay. So, oh, I didn't have the other light on. Hold on. Okay, so okay. Alex, if you misbehave, it's your last chance. I'm going to kick you out for forever, okay? Just FYI. Okay. All right. So, okay. No, but I don't mean to be like so harsh, but you know what I mean? Just that's all. Okay, let's try to focus here because, well, Alex, this is a very stressful reading about the economy, okay? So please don't add any more stress to a stressful situation. Okay, so advice. Okay. And positive advice, positive. Oh, what should we watch out for? Should we prepare for? And then what's the positive? What's the positive here? Okay. Okay. Anyway, so guys, so okay, I'm just gonna go say it. Okay, I'm kind of like but we should just, I feel like, you know what, verbalizing and just talking about it, if anything, it helps. Okay, so unfortunately, don't get too scared. Okay, it's just that there's a lot of levels, and we'll look at it in more detail later. Okay, so this is a card of victory in public, and this is upside down. Okay, and I've said this before. This is a card of public recognition, and it can also be a card of protest, because you see, not protest, but it's like people gathering in public to celebrate a victory. And because it's upside down, I feel like it's the opposite, right? So, and if we look at this card, it also means in some way an election, right? If we think about it, really, this is the person who won, and upside down, it's undoing the election. I think that's pretty exactly what is probably going to happen, right? If we are all correct, and I mean myself, the group, and pretty much all the readers that we all pretty seem to follow, right? Everyone thinks, except maybe Denise Siegel, who thinks it's going to be until 2019. I feel like this is going to be upside down. Everybody agrees that that's it. And this is a cross. So cross means heavy burden and worry. Okay, so there's like a dark feeling, a dark feeling about this thing coming undone. Okay, because actually this card, in a way, feels like this sense of, you know what, it actually is making me think that this whole thing, obviously we feel like the whole thing was fake to a degree, right? So if we come to the conclusion or the idea that this whole, hi Jessica, so I'm starting to talk about the American economy, okay? So anyway, so if we think that this whole thing, the victory or the celebration, was in some way fake, when you turn it upside down and you don't celebrate it anymore, and you see it for what it is, then you have it makes sense that there's like a dark, heavy feeling, okay, of worry. And I think a lot of all of us here have felt it to some extent, right? Okay. So it started here with the context. This is a card of harvest. This is now moving to the position one. That was the center, so that's where I always start. So this is a card of harvest, okay, and dreams or network or the future. Now I feel like this could also mean, just thinking about it very literally, because actually I was thinking about it, guys. I've never really feel like I have to go back and do more research about cards that are specific to the financial world. I know there's tarot readers and even astrologers who specialize in financial predictions or something. I've never looked into it necessarily, but I think if I try to go back to basics and look at cards very literally, okay, this is a card of harvest and this is a card of the future in a way, and your hopes and dreams. So either, to me, this would mean 401k or something about making future to harvesting later, harvesting in the future, okay? This is the first. And this is a new beginning through a letter, communicating a new beginning. And a new person who's a good person. Okay. Now, it's possible, guys. It's funny. I saw this because I had seen such a negative card, but I think it's possible that, and I'll show you why. It's not as bad as, like, I looked at it, I was like, whoa, it's so scary, but it doesn't look as bad now as I'm like reading more into it, like looking at it more closely. Okay. So if we look at these two, the combination of these two cards, and here we have the harvest, like I showed you underneath, and here's the Fool, right? I think I showed you that showed the Fool. Here's the Fool. So it's a new beginning. Okay. Now, if we look at the Fool and the Ladder, okay, so the Stars is an important card because it's a card about hope. And this means a new beginning. And then the Letter. So what I'm just looking at these two cards in the context of everything we know, to me, that means a new beginning because of probably an indictment or a change, because we have here a good person. Okay, so I feel like what it's saying is that hope is restored through a new beginning, okay, that is achieved through a good person that either has the finances together or the right plan in mind. Okay, so that's what I think it's saying. Okay, I don't believe this is about Trump, because if it were, I feel like the cards are very positive. They're all upright and they're all positive. Okay, and I don't think that Trump is going to ever be a dog, in the sense that I don't think he's a person who's trustworthy. Okay, or even though it's a new beginning, and I'll tell you why. Okay, I feel like it will talk more about, I think this card and the other, when we read it as a row, and I'll show you the other cards, is eventually going to relate more to an indictment than to anything else. Okay, but here I do believe this is news, in the sense of this is like hope through the indictment comes a good person. Okay, that's what I believe, and like I said, I'll show you more. Okay, all right. So let me move on to the next. Hi, Dewana. Dewana, we're talking about American economy. Okay. Okay. So this is a card. This is the second column. Okay, so this is the sun, illuminating or hopeful, happiness. Okay, in the government. It's possible that there's a new light in the government. And if we think about the card again of the new beginning that we saw, it looks like things are going well, relatively well. Okay. And then this connects to what I had showed you before, okay, which was, yeah, we'll see, guys. We'll see more, but there's more to see here, to look at. So this is, like I said, a card of something undone and a lot of worry, a lot of heaviness. That I feel like the entire country does feel this cross, right? Except maybe even the Trump voters, they must be feeling this. The sense of heaviness, right? The sense of worry. And so there's a sense of worry about the government after this whole thing was undone, okay? And this is a card of the King of Swords upside down, which I've said before. Like this is a card of Muller, because it's a card of the legal mind and so forth, okay? And underneath is a card of a manipulating person, manipulation. Like basically the American, I call it the American Psycho card. It's not so much of a, because Trump is a con artist, right? But I think this is much more of a very Trump, I don't think he's super intelligent. Okay, he's just very charismatic and like good salesperson. But this is a person who's manipulative, like who's intelligent. Okay, and this is opportunity. Okay, so if we connect best brains, the smartest guy, highest IQ. We're just kidding. Best brains. Yeah, that's how we're like joking how he is. Okay, so then what this is saying though together is that at the same time, yeah, we'll see, guys. Let's look at the situation before we look at a person. Okay, so this is a heaviness about the government, worry about the government is an opportunity for the manipulative person. Okay, so what I think, I almost feel like actually looking at this, what I get from looking at the other column, okay, before, I feel like I see in a way the like the very positive. The other column was positive, like, oh, new beginning, we start anew. And up to here, it's positive. And then here it starts sort of negative. So what I'm feeling is that in this context here, I feel like the deliberate attempt to turn the government upside down, okay, in a way, was done through opportunism, okay, or also that the destruction of the government, which I think is a very overt goal. I mean, I don't think we're being, if we say, okay, the Trump government wants to just like Trump administration wants to destroy the government. I don't think it's a crazy thing to say. I think they've said it many times. So I feel like the worry about the government or the darkness about the government is a consequence of opportunism. Okay, so like a person who was manipulative and sees an opportunity, right? So they see it as an opportunity in a way or another. Okay, all right. So let me move on to the next column, and I feel like I'm talking maybe a little bit slower because I too want to understand it well because I'm not super. Not that I'm not familiar with the economy, but it's sort of like I would like to understand it more in terms of how this will connect to finances. Okay, so this is a card of making a decision and making fear about making decisions or making the wrong judgment, okay, in a way. And this is a card of the leadership and also personal finances. Like actually, maybe in this context, we should really look at it. I know a lot of people say, well, it's a card of Russia, but really here, it's possible that we should probably just think of it as personal finances because that's the literal meaning of it, okay? All right. And now this is another, okay. This is a card of a person moving away. Okay, we've seen this before sometimes. And I feel like we've done so many readings recently, but I feel like here, at some point, one of the recent readings in the last week or so, we talked about Trump leaving, whether he was going to leave the government, whether he was going to be removed. And I think he'll leave. Show me again, leaving, okay? And what do we have here? The coffin. Someone leaves and there's something that comes to an end as a result of this person leaving. I think it's Trump. Okay, I believe here. This is Trump. Could also be leadership. Okay, so that contextualizes the bear up that I just seen as more of a leadership card. Okay, or the person in power. Okay, so I want to show you, and then of course I'll put these together. So this is a card also of leadership. Okay, so there's this card of the Two of Swords upside down. I think it can also mean making a judgment or changing course or making a decision, like the wrong decision or making a decision. Take the money. I don't know. I'm not sure. It's take the money and run. I don't think so. Okay, hold on. Not necessarily. So this is a card of bear. okay, guys, let's not make assumptions before we look at the whole thing together, okay? Because the Lenormand is very much about context and looking at things together. So this is an end. I think in the context of everything you've seen, it means the end of the power, like end of this current leadership. Okay, that's what I think it means. All right. So, and then, but we like I said, we have to look at in context. I'm just showing you card by card and then column by column. This is money, okay, and conversations about money, meetings and conversations about money, people talking about money. Okay, so here we have an end. Like this is an ending to power. Okay. And or maybe, you know, I'm not, guys, like I said, I'm not super, I just feel like I have to tell you everything I see, okay? And one other thing that could be, because this is a card of power and this is a card of leadership, if the leadership comes to an end, it could also mean that it's an end of an economic cycle. You know, if you think about it in broader terms, if we try to contextualize the imagery with the question, then it's important to look at it that way. Okay, let's just, I feel like we just don't get too scared, guys. Like I said, we have to chew everything that's here and then we'll look into it in more detail, but let's just look at it, okay? So otherwise we get like panic and we have to hear what and have to look at what it's showing. Okay, so other options here are, I've said before that this and like the end to this power it's through meetings or conversations about money. And now another thing that I've said before is that the birds card here, it can also mean bots, okay? Because it's like chatter about money. So because I don't think that people talking will necessarily alone will lead to the end of an economic cycle. Although there's a lot of economic theorists that say that the market is not rational, that it is sentiment driven, okay, in the sense that when the sentiment changes, everything changes, okay? So this is why it's difficult sometimes to assess how things really are moving or operating, okay? So basically, if the sentiment changes, that's when things change. Because a lot of people, yes and no, yes, not just that, not just buying, but also, how to say this? But it's like this rapid trend, it just basically created, there was this paper that was published recently about exactly trading, about how a couple of bots were able to really inflate the price of specific digital currencies. Okay, so that's sort of like what it could go around this. I just wanted to bring up what it could mean. Okay, I'm just talking about it. Okay, just discussing this idea, this concept of the bond markets, that it's sentiment driven, and also that this is also could be related to technology. I don't know exactly, but now that we've looked at this, now let's look at everything together. Okay, now, so we have here, yeah, exactly. Diana's saying, I think the sentiment will change when Trump leaves, but this could be a good change depending on Trump's replacement. Yes, exactly. But I think what could happen is once the reality, this is what I think is probably the most dangerous part, okay? Once the reality is like, once the cover is like lifted and we see, it's like that expression, how the sausage is made, then there could be more panic. You know what I mean? Because that's the danger. What the danger in markets is when people panic and it start massive sell-offs. Okay, so, and there's not enough cash to cover, right? So anyway, let's not get too much into this, but basically, I'm just going to do a little review here of the columns. So here we have a new beginning, harvesting through a person who's a good person. Okay, a new beginning, a hope through a letter, probably through an indictment brought by, maybe this could be Muller, or a good person. Okay, this is very positive, this column. And then we have the government, worries about the government, or the worries about government are an opportunity for the opportunist. Okay. And then we have an ending to a specific group of powerful people, or a powerful person because of talks or meetings, okay, or something, chatter related to money, okay, through or after there's conversations about money. Now, looking at these together, now let's look at it like this, because the rows are also important, okay? So here on top, we have, let me just undo. We have the hope in the government, right? Hope in the government through the power, like through a leader, through leadership. So this could indicate, again, there's something new in the horizon in terms of a new government or a new person. Okay, so yeah, we're hopeful again in the government through new leadership. Even the cards seem happy. Okay. Okay. But guys, today I'm kind of like feeling a good energy or happiness or something. Like, not that I'm not, right? It's like I feel like there's always this sense of extreme anxiety, but I'm feeling good about things. Okay. So this is Trump's gone. Okay. So this is a card of a new beginning, classic card of a new beginning, the Fool. So there's a letter or document indicating a new beginning. And this is also significant, okay? So here, very significant. This is the central card here, okay? Like I said, there's a deflate, like undoing of some sort of victory. It's basically, we probably find that the victory is wrong, and the card of guilt. So the new beginning comes after the letter indicates a guilt about the election or somebody winning, okay? And that leads to the coffin, meaning an ending and somebody leaving. Okay, so this is why, guys, I was saying that the more we look at it, the more the situation appears to be about a new person coming to the government, somebody leaving and somebody new coming. And then at the bottom, a good person who cares about stability, because the King of Pentacles is also stability. An opportunity for the good person. Okay, now we still have the manipulative person or manipulative element, or here because it's upside down. So basically, the good person sees the opportunity in spite of manipulation through talks and meetings. Okay, so maybe it's also possible that there's a lot of conversation about this maybe the financial manipulation, or news about, not news. I think this is part of like meetings or groups. I feel like there's just a lot of meetings and conversations about how to turn things, how to see this as a positive opportunity, okay? And then if I look at the diamond pattern, we have here a letter that communicates an opportunity, a new beginning. Okay, a letter about an opportunity for a new beginning. Because the ending that happened through an ending and somebody leaving, or that creates an ending and that somebody leaves, and then this person, and after the ending, we have hope. Okay, because here's hope at the end. So that's one thing. And then we also have at the corners, we have hope and hope of new leadership through conversation, through meetings, through talks, and a good person. Okay, so in a way, it could also mean that this conversation is us. Okay, could also be the population talking, the chatter, the talk on the street, something like that. Okay, all right. So this is that. This is the situation that is showing. I asked the question, what is going to happen? I think the important thing here, I think the most important aspect that relates to finances from this one specific area of the reading was the manipulation. They see that the downturn of the government, or like the worry about the government, was something manipulated. Okay, it was perhaps artificial. Okay, sorry, I'm just pouring myself a little Pellegrino. I feel like, okay, guys, this is not an ad. Okay, nobody's paying me to say this. I just like it. Let me show you. I don't know if you like this. I really like this. I know it has a lot of sugar, but I like it. And, okay, sorry. Drink. Oh my God, no. I don't like drinking. I mean, not for me. I never like drinking. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, so this is a card of it was upright, actually. Yeah, this is a card of, so then after this, guys, no, I don't want to do ads. I don't know. Anyway, so, okay, let's do this, guy. Anyway, so the question now, it's, I mean, I don't want to be, offend or anything, Diana, just want to say what I'm drinking because it's weird, it's pink. Anyway, so this is a card of illusion. So the question is, I asked the next part of the question. Oh, okay. The next part of the question was, this is it's like, what is your advice? So I asked, what is your advice? What should we prepare for? And what's the positive, like something positive to look forward to, if anything? Okay. So this is an illusion image. Oh, this is kind of interesting, guys. So this is an illusion in the public eye. And I've said yesterday how this card, the garden, is about society, but it could also mean in some way a facade. You know what I mean? So what the public sees. So I think if we look at it this way, it's saying the public sees an illusion. Okay. So that's interesting. Okay. I just have to remember, this is advice. Okay. And this is a card of, like I said before, the bigotry kind of mentality, right? Because this is a card of the past and children, childhood, nostalgia. And like this, it means the wrong values, people who are obsessed about a past or a past that never really existed, fakeness, those kinds of things, okay? And this is the fox. So I feel like this may have appeared before. And this means, I think, we're using those kinds of like old-fashioned ideas to hide these shady shenanigans going on, okay? And this is a faction. Like this is a card of competition, competitive environments. I mean, not necessarily bad, okay? It's just competitive. And this is a card of, after the competition has gone on for a while, there are factions. So separate groups, okay? And this is a card of the foreign influence. Okay, so now putting this together, I think the advice is a little bit like what we were just talking about, right? So which is the idea of, before I started the reading, we were talking about the idea of illusion in the economy, okay? So looking at all of these, I think what it means, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to get so annoyed because somehow the screen inverts everything. So again, this is illusion in the public eye, okay? And this is while the illusion is going on, they give people these backwards values so that they can keep doing their shady stuff behind the scenes. So here you see like public fox. So there's like says also the fox can mean treachery. So they're screwing up the public by giving out these illusions, right? These fakeness things. And these cards actually connect well together, nostalgia and illusion, okay? And through the foreign power. So I feel like you know what I feel like, guys? This is almost like in Portuguese, and I think it reminds me of my parents. Okay, my mom grew up in the 60s, and I believe it's probably like a Marxist thing to say, but it's like what is it? Religion is the opium of the masses. But I feel like it's kind of like that. but in a contemporary way. That's what I think it looked like. It's like they're giving out, they're creating these illusions in the public. Okay, here is this part. And then we have, so that they can do the shady stuff behind the scenes with the foreign government, create division, and create, and like, you know what I mean? So it's like they're giving the illusions they're giving these illusions, and basically like the whole premise of fake news. Okay, they create the whole theater of like bullshit, like they're doing this Nunes memo and everything. The whole thing from the beginning has been like this. And then they also start the racism, so that kind of puts the focus of the population on something else, while the foreign power creates further division. You see what I mean? So it's kind of like they want to create this illusory, or like the illusion, right? They want to create the fakeness, the world of fakeness. So I think that's what, because I asked, what's your advice about the economy? It's basically saying, beware of the fakeness. Beware that a lot of it is just an illusion, okay? All right. Okay. Okay, so now the second part, there's 3 little parts here. I'm going to get here. The second part was, what should we prepare for? Okay. And this is nice. This is a card of the magician is metaphysical power, basically the power to turn ideas into reality. It's a card of action, the card of power, but in a bigger thing, okay? Like, yeah, Sia said like Bitcoin maybe, but I think Sia is more on a macro level, okay? That looks like very big on a very large scale. Okay, so it's just generally the whole setting of the government. So I feel like in some ways, it's just saying that the whole thing or what we're seeing is not reality necessarily, okay? There's been a lot of distraction. So in general, what I feel like the message is just general, okay? So anyway, so now this is the part about what we should prepare for. Okay, so there's power, right? Power to turn ideas into reality, and the fish. And the fish is a card of a lot of money. And it's funny because when I did the reading on dreamers, I thought, you know what, this card showed up, and I thought this was related to lots of people. And then I recently went back to my Lenormand book, and it confirmed that the fish can be a large quantity of something. So I feel like essentially this could mean that we have power, because this is a card of many, 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 many people, I think, okay? So we have the power to create abundance, or to turn things into, to create this collectively, right? To turn this into reality. I just want to comment on Patty Jo's comment. I just saw it now. She was commenting on what I had just seen, which was the advice about how everything is an illusion. Yeah, and she said it's setting up like setting up a stage, performing a play which is directed by Russia. Exactly, Patty Jo. That's what I think it is. Okay, and they've talked about this openly, how they want to create a new world order. But one thing that we haven't talked about very often, because we're so focused on politics, is how they want to create a new economic order. So that's possible. Okay. Anyway, so just going back here to this question, which is how can we prepare for this? Okay. So just the first set of cards. Now I'm going to the second, which is interesting. This is a card of the devil upside down. This is upright, and the devil upside down. Jan, okay, I don't know. Okay, I think we have to do a reading on China and Russia together and separate. But I don't think, let's try to focus, because the question is really, let's focus on, this is just the American economy. Okay, so then we'll break it down, and then we'll ask, let me finish, because it's just that there's so much information. I think if we start looking into other things, then we'll not, you know what I mean? Then it diffuses the focus. I mean, I feel like sometimes I get distracted. So let's try to focus on this. And then once we have a break, then we'll talk about where to go next. Okay. So anyway, so this is a card of moving on. Like, this is a card of the devil, right? So devil is bondage and illusions. Another reference to illusions that we're seeing. I think the reading is talking a lot about illusions, about things going on behind the scenes. Okay, so this is moving, how do we move beyond the illusions that these people created? And who is this person here? The child. I believe this is Trump. So we're going to have to move away from the illusions that he created. Okay, so that's kind of a big deal. Okay. And this is a card of aggressive and assertive news, something new. Okay. So let's just put it together. We have lots of people or lots of money. I think this could be people. I believe it's people. Lots of people have the power to turn thoughts into reality. Oh, you know what, guys? Oh my God, now I'm almost getting goosebumps because I think this now makes more sense. I'm getting understanding it more. Essentially, what it's saying, I think, because I asked, what should we prepare for? I think what it's saying is that you guys are going to have to get together in order to move away from the illusions and the devil works of the man. Okay, you have to remember, this is what, yeah. Yes, Gladys said, my mom-in-law, exactly, keeps sending me links about cryptocurrencies despite me telling her to trust. Exactly. So, but basically here, I feel like it's a very important, it's almost like a spiritual message that we have to remember that we have the power collectively to move beyond the illusions that were set up by this man. Through, no, Diane, okay, listen, Diane, okay, that's what it's saying. We don't have to complete, we have to just take it as it is, a relatively abstract. What I feel like is saying that we should not despair. Okay, it's not saying what A, B, C, or D, what we're going to do, but it's saying that after, like if you connect this part to the other part that we saw, which has the probably the indictment leads to a lot of, because of guilt, leads to an ending. But it's saying that, and I think this confirms a lot of things that I've seen in many readings, which is that after Trump leaves, and it's likely that he will leave, we're going to be dismayed at how much dirt there is. Okay. So this is what it's saying. It's like, you have the power. This is card, like this one is stronger than this one. Okay. This is card number 1, by the way. So yeah, not just good against evil, but sort of like there's work to do, but you have to keep strong. Don't buy into the illusion. It's sort of like what this is saying too. It's an illusion. Exactly. Not to panic. And this is be aggressive when the news comes. So there's going to be, so let's look at it again. So there's news. This is also like, if we look at the fish, exactly. If we look at the fish as money, we could say there's going to be news through the child, through news about the child's money, okay? The news about the money, that something financial related to this man, okay? But I think it's also, the card, the rider, is also a card with something coming into the stage. It's not, I feel like the rider is almost like the stage director, in the sense that it will tell you who is the protagonist. So I think what this says is that the many people will come after Trump, aggressive and be assertive. So I feel like it's a new stage for the multitude of people, but we're going to have to look at all the illusions that he created. That's what I see the message as being, okay? And that even the money is not, and I feel like maybe I feel like some sort of like cheap self-help or anything, but it says, oh, money is not, it's just a reflection of your values. But in some ways, right, in the sense that we're going to have to look at reality. We're going to have to dig deeper and look at everything that's being hidden from us, okay? And this is a new stage because the writer's here, okay? No, not necessarily his money, Diane, more like Arma, like in the sense of how, because this is a card of, yes, all his money, but in the sense of how he controls money, or the economy that is related to him as well, okay? So it's just going to be news, or it's going to come into the foreground. Okay. All right. So the last thing I asked was, what is something positive to come out of this? Okay. It's saying changes because of secrets. Okay. So changes, I think I've said this before, the book is about knowledge is about something that is hidden. And it could also be in a way about accounting, because the book, obviously ledgers are books. So I feel like it could also mean that there could be accounting reforms or changes to accounting laws or something. And I feel like, because I'm kind of like, and I feel like you guys say like I am a strange person because I'm kind of like obsessed about the new GAAP rules. And GAAP rules are like this accounting rules that all the accountants are supposed to follow. And I'm like kind of really have all these questions about it. I'm kind of like interested in this. So, okay. Trump leaves all his Wall Street buddies and the government running departments have to leave, and we'll see the enormous damage to the wealth of American people. Angelica, I don't know that, to be honest, I feel like the whole thing with Wall Street, it goes beyond Trump. Like it's been around for longer than that, okay? I just feel like there's just, I remember this, I forgot who, somebody said that when Trump leaves, there's going to be a lot of money that's missing. Something like that. I remember this story about this, how like maybe they stole money from I don't know exactly. Because, okay, I'll tell you guys, this is sad, but don't be alarmed. But like in Brazil, like where I'm from, corruption is so widespread that people get into politics in order to become multimillionaires, like hundreds of millions of dollars. So they get into the government to literally steal taxpayers' money. And that's so common. It's almost impossible to like move away from. Exactly, steal from the treasury. Though this is what I'm thinking, because if the goal is to become like a third world country, okay, then that's what happens. The politicians, they literally go into the government and they take the money into their personal accounts. That's literally like what they do. So if this government becomes like a third world country, quote unquote, that's exactly what happens. They start taking the taxpayer money into their pockets, like literally, okay? So basically, then this is what Putin does, supposedly. Like he's the richest person alive because he simply took the money from all these like Russian companies that are state companies and pocketed and put it in his pocket, okay? So that's the thing. This is what is concerning, okay? Because it's one thing, like what we consider here in America to be corruption is this, right? Oh, look, he's getting a little kickback here and that. In Brazil and like places that are corrupt, is like literally they go in the government. It's probably like I don't know exactly how they do it, but I think they just literally transfer the money into their accounts. Like this state where I'm from, Rio, is bankrupt because the guy, the governor took the money and he literally like put it in the stock market because his friend owns it. Like, and that's then people who are retired, they don't have any money. They can never get the money paid back. They're done. Like their pensions are over. It's over because people pocketed the money. That's what I mean. This is why corruption is not just because it's about influencing laws, but when it gets ratcheted up, it means taking the money and putting literally in your pocket. Okay, again, guys. Anyway, I don't want to like get into this, but it's just explaining why. Okay, what could happen here? Okay, so just talking about the the changes about money or about something secret. Okay, when Mnuchin went foreclosure people's homes. Yeah, I don't know exactly. We have to look at Mnuchin actually at some point. Anyway, so and by the way, Mnuchin, this is what's important. I forgot about this. So Mnuchin was the campaign treasurer. Okay, so that's important. This is kind of like a big deal, because he must know where the money is coming from. Or I've never looked into him. And he has that disgusting wife of his. Like, remember the pictures he took of himself with money? Like, oh, hi, here's like all these bills. Ha ha ha, how beautiful. Oh my God. So anyway, this is a averting death, okay, and a cloud. So we're going to see, I almost feel like, don't be too alarmed, but basically I feel like this is hidden, something hidden. So when we look at the reality of the economy, we're going to see that it's almost dead. Like, or there's something like, will we be able to avert death? Or it's very, very dangerous, very, very dark, okay? And this is energy or focus of dotard, of an older man here, okay? So I think what this is showing is secrets are uncovered And the secrets need to be uncovered so as to avert death through the doings of the older man. Okay, so when the secrets of the older man are uncovered, we are forced to change. Okay, so that's what I get from this. Change is going to come out of the things we find out from about the older man. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to backtrack here, guys, to get a summary. So basically, the advice here is that it's like a fake play is going on that was set up by the foreign government so that they could keep doing shenanigans behind everybody's back. And then what we should prepare for is that we have to be strong when news comes about all the illusions done by the older, by Trump, all the devil works that he has done. And the positive things will happen. What the positive things will happen basically when, as a result of us looking at the secrets of what's changes will happen when we find out what's the secrets that he's been hiding. Okay, the things he's done in our back. I feel like there will have to be a reform, okay, about something. And I'm feeling, guys, that okay, so that was what's happening. Okay, let me just drink something here. This is what's happening with the America. Like, we asked the question about the economy, okay? So I think this is showing us here really is that there's a lot of things were planned and there were illusions that were put into place by the foreign influence. And these things a lot of things are going to come to the surface once the person is removed. I think one other very important thing that we can't forget here is the new beginning, because of the guilt about the wrongful election leading to somebody leaving. Okay, so this is very significant. So I feel like there's three elements of the story here. We have we're finding out there's probably an indictment, a new beginning as a result of this person being guilty and leaving. And then we have a new hope in the government. But at the same time, while we have hope, we start finding out all the dirt, all of the shitty things that happened, including all the illusions that were set up, okay, on behalf of and through Trump. And then we have strength to carry on, to deal with all the shit that he has done. And that the positive thing is that we'll be able to make changes once we understand what's happening behind the scenes. Okay, so this was really the overall reading, which in some ways doesn't tell us a lot, okay? So I think what it says is that probably, and I'm like splitting, getting the cards again. I think what happens really is that it's telling us that when the cover is lifted, then there's going to be a wake-up call, okay? I feel like the positive thing about the reading is that we are getting to the truth as opposed to the illusion, right? Because it would be worse almost if we looked at it and it's like, it's the beginning of the illusion. That would be worse in a way, right? So I think what's happening now is that we are at the moment where we're lifting the covers, okay? And we're looking at what really happened, okay? Which is tough, but in some ways it's better. It's a better position to be in than a position of like, it ends as like, oh, look, all this illusion is going to come into place. It's better that it comes to an end, okay? That it's better that things kind of cool off a little, okay? And another thing that I think we can still talk about it tonight at some point, but one thing that you guys asked about China, I believe, I never thought about this for a long time. I've thought about this for a long time, guys, that I think China is the superpower now for many reasons. Because one, it owns a lot of American debt, like government debt, okay? I think that's very clear, and it's not necessarily related to Trump. So, yeah. So, but I feel like Gladys is saying, I wish I can skip straight to the new beginning, but I guess it's better to go through the dirt and learn from our mistakes. Yes, because you know what, Gladys, what I really believe is that essentially things would not change. I feel like, I'm not saying, like, I hate to be like, oh, Hillary this, I'm not anti-Hillary, anti-Democrats, but we have to see that this system has been going on for a long time, whatever dirt it is, okay, in so many ways. So you know, and even exactly the Republicans. So I feel like what happens, and I think really this is the core question that has to be discussed, is not to necessarily that we have to be like, you know, Bernie Sanders, like, oh my God, destroy, the same thing with like Trump, like destroy everything, whatever. No, it's like, how could we really have these values, like change the values and care about people? This is what I think is really the question. How do we care about people and create a new, because you know what, I've been thinking a lot about language and syntax, because it's something I know pretty well. And I've been thinking about how, for example, the libertarians were able to kind of to wash away, to present this, like the whole thing of like, oh, let's destroy the government as something positive. Okay. They were able to convince people that the government is horrible, that we should destroy it, and that it's just a waste of time. It's this and that. And it's like, no, the idea of the government is that it should serve the people, right? And I feel like how do we care about people exactly? So I feel like until we take it apart, okay, and see and look at it and say, okay, look, this is not helping the majority, okay? This is not going anywhere. This is only going to create poverty in a third world country, which is what I have experienced. Many people have, which is like dire poverty for the majority of people, a small middle class and a tiny number of wealthy people. And the strength of the American economy was the middle class, because then you have a large number of consumers. When you don't have that, then that's when you don't have like the purchasing power. Okay. So anyway, exactly. So I feel like that's what has to happen. It's like in a revolution of values. Okay. Exactly. Of course, even more general, exactly. But it's just that's what is going to have to happen in some way. Okay. So not just a feudal system, but it's in a way it's not worse, but I feel like if you've ever seen real hardcore poverty, it's heart-wrenching. You can't do, it's really awful. It's terrible, okay? Because people can't eat, okay? And then you can't go to school. It's like you don't have the basics. That's horrible, okay? And people are starving on the street. Like that's the you know what I mean? So anyway, so here, okay, so the next question, we'll have to talk about China also eventually, maybe tonight. But what I wanted to do, because I think this reading was fairly abstract, okay? Jessica asks, I just don't get their mentality. It's the people who can't purchase. How will they sustain wealth? I think, Jessica, it's like I've said before in one of my recent readings, it's like they're like burglars. They have 2 hours to go into someone's house and steal everything they want. Okay? That's what they're doing. They don't care about the future. They're like, I'm just going to grab. That's it. They don't care about the future. They just want now. And whoever comes next fixes their mess. Okay, so that's it. You know what I mean? Okay, so let's now think about, I feel like it would be useful now to do a month-by-month reading. I don't know if, if you guys want that or not, or if you want to move on to other issues, but I feel like it could be useful to, and it maybe, maybe all that it will show us is, yeah, okay. All that it will show us is even if all that it shows us is context, I think it will still mean something, because I feel like if you ask me, or you said, oh, I saw this reading and she said that there's going to be an unplugging of the government, like we're going to see the reality, but it's still pretty abstract. I think it's more useful if we look at sort of like, even if the timelines could be a little bit off, at least we understand the progression, okay? So that we know A is going to happen, B is going to happen, and C is going to happen, okay? And then we can ask, okay? And then we can ask about Mnuchin, and also, what was the other? Oh, China, okay. Oh, you know what we could ask? Yeah, what I was thinking. Time by. We could also, okay, guys, another question. Do you want me to do month by month, or like zoom in into a month? Okay, let's say what March is going to look like, July or August. I guess I should just do the year. Okay, what do you think? Just tell me if you have a preference. I'm just gonna do every month. Okay. Okay, February. Okay. Okay, month by month. Just try to. So tell us about how the economy is going to be doing month by month. Okay, month by month. Okay. Okay. Tell us about how the economy is going to be going month by month. Month by month. Month by month. Month by month. Oh, and other things, guys. March. Okay. Yeah, let's see here. We'll do months here. So guys, another thing that I saw today, and I feel like there's never enough time to post everything and to talk about everything. But there's a big thing going on in Wisconsin about the vote. Like over there, today I saw this news that, you know how, for example, Scott Walker is supposed to be the most, if not like probably the most corrupt Republican governor, and he said publicly that he, like, what's the word? He got several illegal elections there or something, and so the Republican state Senate, I forgot what it is, but basically Republicans wanted to fire the election commission in Wisconsin that's independent. Okay, so they fired the two people who make up this part of the government, and then they denied, or something, like the election commission was like, no, these people are going to stay. So, and I didn't get a chance. I saw a picture of a person and I was like, whoa, this person has corruption like written all over. And I think, what's probably happening. I've read this online, random, like not random, but like news of, like on and off, about how Muller is supposedly looking at elections in Michigan and Wisconsin, if I'm not mistaken. He's looking at how these numbers changed and stuff like that. So I'm thinking, in a way, it's probably that they're panicking. Okay, this is telling me is that these people are panicking. And because they want, they probably want they want to change evidence or something like that. Okay, that they have not been doing this when they have. And there was another article today, was it today or yesterday, on Rolling Stone about how the Republicans have been hacking elections, in the sense of like all the things and we talked about this, right? I did the reading about I forgot which one, guys, but there was one where I talk about, like, it was one of the big readings, okay, exactly how the things I told you guys that I had seen, this like dark tunnel people, like the stuff that the underground system they have where they do lots of different things. That was sort of like, I think the article, I haven't read it, but I think it's probably like that. All the elements, how they can't win, exactly how they can't win, exactly. They can't win the elections. So it's very interesting. I think this whole thing is going to come apart. Thank God, hopefully. Okay. So anyway, so that's just another, and I feel like, guys, there's never enough time. And to be honest, I've said before, I don't do readings on Fridays for, several reasons. I think also personal, but I feel like it gets me a little tired, after a while. Of course, it's natural, and I can't have to preserve myself or whatever. But I feel like there's so much. I feel like I want to do a reading on gerrymandering, like all these elements of gerrymandering and like all these voter laws. Okay, exactly. Evil. And I feel Gladys said, they are panicking, trying to hold on to power. Exactly. It's evil. Because I feel, the guys, like the image I have is like all the insects that like all the rats that go in the sewer. There's people, they work in the dark. They work behind the scenes. These are the most dangerous people. You know what I mean? We don't see them. We don't know, but that's what they do. All these, like, there must be like all these lawyers and all these people who know all this dirty stuff. Okay. So I think that's what's happening. They're sensing that somehow they either have been caught or they're about to be getting caught. Okay, because it's getting close to them. Okay, exactly. The local, and I feel like, guys, yeah, and it's a network because they know, right? They must know everything. And this connects to also, oh my God, it's so, oh my God. And guys, I've done, it was 115 videos, and I feel like we're not even close to understanding the whole thing. It's just so crazy, right? Oh my God. That's Alex. Hi, Alex Stroh. Alex Stroh came back to the group. Alex Stroll. Alex Stroll. Yeah, exactly. Shut down polling. Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Okay, so guys, all right. Yeah, now he changed his name to say Alex Troll. That's his name now. He has a new chat name, so there's no doubt about it. It's like Alex Troll, Alex Troll. I came here to change the subject. Alex Troll, Alex Troll. Okay, so let's hear. Oh, wait, what? What happened? What is it? I don't know. I can't. I'm not gonna click, but tell us because I can't click. I'm like reading. Tell us. Just go ahead. Say it. Say it. What is it? What happened? Because there's always like such news. What happened? Oh, what? Changing the subject? Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay. Ah, okay. Oh, interesting. So it's coming out tonight that he tried to. Ah, cool. That's cool. It's like obstruction of justice. It's like obstruction of justice is like a new cologne of the administration. It's like everywhere in the air. You know, it's like everywhere we go, there's obstruction of justice. Obstruction. Oh, that would be a great commercial. Obstruction. It's exactly they don't want everything to find out. Yeah, complicit. It's like obstruction. Smell it everywhere you go. Yeah. Oh my God. Obstruction. Ah, smell of the Trump administration. Obstruction. Spritz it on and obstruct. Spritz it on, and the next thing you know, it's like, it's you, it's Hillary, it's Obama, deep state, FBI, you. You know, it's like, that's, yeah, it's a drug. Okay, let's look at it, guys. Okay, let's look at it. Oh my God, Jesus Christ. Exactly, Jesus Christ. Okay, so let's see here, month by month. I know we're talking, and but I like us chatting a little bit too, not so dumb yet. Yeah, and I feel like, and I don't, in a way, I feel like what he's doing, it's like the whole thing is do or die, right? They're trying to really pretend that the whole thing is not like a whole thing is illegal. But I feel like, and I'm like, why didn't they? Because the whole entire thing is illegal. Why not just fire Mueller? I mean, I'm not saying I do not obviously don't want him to be fired, but it's almost weird because you feel like, isn't the whole thing just a joke anyway to start? But I feel like I think they would worry that people would go and arrest them. You know, these people, they know already that, I mean, think about, and I said this yesterday, I think, Nunes. Like, what does he think is going to happen to him? Does he think like he's going to get it? Like, oh my God. Yeah, exactly. It's like, hello. I mean, it's like, are they, can't believe. Oh my God. You know what it is? It's sort of like, think of the greatest chef in the world, and you can only fry eggs. And you're like, I'm going to be a better cook than you. Watch me. And you like fry an egg. You're like, huh, fry a better egg. And you're like, you think that's enough. It's like you're dealing with the best people in the world. Muller and all these people, they were like so good. They understand the law. And they're like, huh, I can fry an egg. I'm going to get rid of this guy. I don't know. Jesus Christ. Unbelievable. Exactly. Yeah, no, it's like, what are you going to say, dude? Oh my God. This is, I feel like this is, and I saw this news of like how he's supposedly meeting with all these billionaires at Davos, because I feel like he's like, guys, let's try to, get as much as we can out of this deal. It's like, I don't think they really, obviously they don't care about the government. They just want to get as much money out of it as they can. Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. And like the lawyers, and they were saying, many people were saying how the lawyers he has are like the worst lawyers, right? I don't know. Oh, by the way, guys, I meant to talk about it. somebody asked about Rick Gates, because there was news that Rick Gates may be collaborating, and I just wanted to point out, not to be like bragging, but that I had said that he was going to collaborate with Muller back in October 31st. So that anyway, so that's like, yeah, he's collaborating with Muller. So anyway, it doesn't matter. It's not a huge deal. It's just like, it's not necessary to do a reading on him because he is okay. Yeah, no, I mean, not to be like, again, like I said, guys, this is more, I like to think of it more as a storytelling exercise than anything, because, what if, but I think so far in the, oh my God, this thing, I don't know if you know Malcolm Nance, he goes on Joy's show a lot, Malcolm Nance. So he said that he thinks that by March, Mueller will have completed the whole thing. He will have crushed the whole investigation. Like he will have crushed Trump by March. And I was like, I hope so. I hope so, Malcolm Nance, because like that would mean, if he obviously he knows those things. So anyway, yeah. So I feel like if he said that, then it's like, whoa, I trust. You know what I mean? Like I trust him. I feel like he knows a lot. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see. Yeah. So anyway, it's just oh yes, that's right. Exactly. I saw it. I honestly, I don't think that was like, because that's like very scary, right, to think that like he's, something really horrible happened. But yeah. Okay. So in terms of the economy, okay, I'm just gonna read, guys, this. So January, okay. Oh, interesting. So that's a poverty card, or hardships, and a gift. So a gift to cover hardships, and I feel like this could almost be the budget. The whole thing about the budget. And this is a card of anger. So this is key. This gift to cover the lack of money. January. Opportunities denied. And there is some sort of like emotional, like I feel like the fox sees opportunities when things are turned down, and there's like emotional things. It's hard to interpret, guys, honestly, in terms of the economy. You know what? Let me do this. Let me see in terms of just the Lenormands, because I feel like that's a little bit. There's a little bit less information. I think it'll be a little bit easier, and I'll open up the other cards if I see if we have more questions or. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like, okay, so now it's actually helps, guys, to have less different kinds of cards. So here we have the key is a gift. I feel like there's some kind of like money being pumped in, because the gift is also like a surplus. And here we have opportunities for foxes. So I feel like we're still in the pump up, like kind of like pumping up phase, because the key, there's like shady stuff going on, opportunists, and a kind of like a fake surplus. And I feel like now this reminds me a little bit of what's going on with the digital coins, because there's a lot of people who are like manipulating things behind the scenes, and they're using this like surplus as an opportunity to keep manipulating. Okay, that's January. Okay, just put it here so you can see. And then And then February, we have aggression from Russia, okay, or painful, something painful from Russia, and corruption. So the corruption is painful and it's stressful because of the government and because of laws. Okay. And I'm thinking here, I'm trying to like, okay, Diane, I'm just gonna have to, yeah, okay, we both, okay, so this is things we find out about. So I'm just trying to read this and trying to contextualize it into the like, how is this going to affect the economy, okay? Because I just feel like there might be a bit more, if I think of it, if I interpret this as economic, like what the effects on the economy, this is aggression and stress. So I feel like there might be more volatility in February and stress because as a result of the government. You know what I mean? So this is, the whip is a card of like a, no, not fallout, basically aggression, meaning like there's more, the whip is a card of repetition. So it could be like there's more volatility in the sense of like there's more ups and downs and there's stress. So it's like, it's just like stress means things up and down, and also as a result of everything that's happening. So there's might be more stress and volatility in general, which is going to affect the markets. Yeah, and this is a card of, I think people are happy, right? They're happy because there's an ending. Here, there's an ending. And this ending, I think this ending comes, there's happiness because of ending, but the ending also affects the markets, I think, because this is the fish. Okay, so it could also, like I said before, guys, I think in some ways it seems pretty clear now, and I don't want to make too much of us about it, okay? But I feel like the end of the Trump presidency is also an end, and I don't want to like make too much of a how do you say it? You know, a pronouncement or something, but I feel like it's also an end of an economic cycle. I get it more and more, okay? It's because it showed in the last reading how the power changes, and here again the happiness, but then the ending, and the ending affects the large quantities of money or movement in the markets, okay? Jessica, I'm not sure that's necessarily related. Let's look at here, because the donors only care about themselves. I mean, there's nobody else that they can. So here we have, this is we have January, February, this is March, right? So also what I had just shown that what happens in March was also related to things we talked about in terms of Trump leaving March. Okay, so anyway, so this is April. April, we have powerful people or like finances related to Trump, okay, or some sort of like remnants of some like powerful people or like money issues related to Trump, and the uncovering of the network of Trump. So the network related to Trump is uncovered, and the money that of how I feel like there's going to be some sort of news of how all the people that worked for him will be invested. Like we're going to find, you know how, for example, with like after the last financial crisis, we saw how the banks had made money off of mortgages. I'm not saying this is going to be as fast as this, like in a month we find out everything, but I feel like we're going to find out more of the interrelationships, because this is a card of networks of people. Okay, so we're going to understand a little bit more how all these people are connected. That's April. Okay. And so then we have April, May, I feel like here, so this is the country is moving on to like better things in some ways, right? To transitioning. It's a transition also, okay? So like it's moving on to something better, but at the same time, there's difficulties, okay? And this is difficulties through the good. So it's possible that as we connect to a change or to a good person, then we start to see some real challenges, okay? Difficulties or something that was long-term coming. That has not, so in a way, it's sort of like something that we inherit, that even though things change for the better, then we start to see the truth. And that's when things could get maybe a little bit difficult. Okay. So that's May, June. January, February, March, April, May, June. Okay. So June, we have elections to the House, maybe something related to the election or the White House. And we see the deal, like, I think this could be related. If it's true that Trump will leave, I think this could mean the decisions, the government decisions about how to have a new election or like some sort of special election, a referendum, something like that, okay, could happen. Exactly, the faithful dog. Exactly, because like, if you guys saw the video I did about Obama was the dog, like the good person that we could trust. So it's unclear if, so that would, if he comes, then it would be May. It would be May, right? If it comes back. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps now just saying Obama comes back in May. I hope so. Yes, right? So anyway, I'm not like, I don't want everybody to get like so excited, but then it's like, imagine he doesn't come back, the person who sees Mitch McConnell. I'm saying, like, you know what I mean? Because if we get excited, then like we get depressed. Anyway, so this, what I feel like this is doing is a conversation about referendum, like how to move on, okay? And then July. This is a card, obviously, the snake in public, the snake affecting the public, and news about a secret news. I feel like the public becomes aware of manipulation, okay? Essentially, that's what I feel like. And if we think of what just happened, I'm getting a sense, guys, that like when we look at May here, let's go back to this is when Obama's supposed to show up, okay? This is one part of May. I feel like this is going to I don't want to say, again, I don't want to say this is, don't take it super seriously because we've seen the bigger picture. But I think in May, we see maybe a beginning of a downturn. And you know how Obama came to the government right after the financial crisis. So I feel like in a way, if this is indeed him, then or somebody else, then it's like the beginning of looking at reality, okay? Exactly. Patty Jo said Trump leaves where there are going to be ripples for months. Exactly. So what I feel like happens is reality hits. Okay. So, and again, I don't want to say that Obama's, just let's say a good person, because I don't want it to create like this, like, idea that like this, who knows. But I just feel like what happens is reality hits. So anything that was inflated is going to come down to earth. Okay. Oh, interesting. Angelica saying the January 30th, the club will hit Obama's not to motivate him. That would be interesting. That's interesting. Because here we're saying the secrets that happen behind the public's back. Okay. So what I get the sense is that as we start to look at things as they are, then it's bound to be a downturn necessary. Like, you know what I mean? It seems natural that there would be, I don't want to say a downturn, but like a more realistic outlook on things. Okay. So that was July. Now August. Wait. It's crazy. I feel like there was supposed to be more cards. I don't know what happened to them. Am I doing like bad math? Oh yeah, my math was bad. Sorry. Anyway, so okay, so this is August. Okay. Hold on a second. Oh yeah, August. Now I feel like, guys, August looks kind of bad. Okay, out of all the months, we have like the darkness of foreign influence. Okay, some sort of serious worry about foreign influence, and a man is cut. Or the guilt makes a man come to an ending in the end of foreign influence. And you know what I feel like here? Let's see what came just before. I feel like if we look at if we look at what just happened, that the secret is revealed to the public, okay? And news of the secret comes, I think that this is like, they're going to try to like really create, if there was manipulation by a foreign power, and if let's imagine this is Russia or something, they're going to try to really screw things up, okay? This is cutting, difficult ending because of guilt. But I think this is probably going to be the lowest refined. So if there's anything difficult, it's probably going to happen in August, okay? If anything. Now, unfortunately, I made the wrong calculation. So the cards end in September, okay? But let's just do this until September and see, okay? And then, okay, August, September. This is a communication about written communication meetings about a new person or probably a new government, okay? So I feel like September we start to really think about conversation about a new government. And I feel like this is the beginning. What I get the sense, guys, this is just intuition, okay? The sense I get here is that there's going to be this is just intuition. There will be a couple of years almost of intense discussion, okay? In the sense that we're going to have to really think about what the next government, like not just next government, but the next government system is going to be like, because this is like laws. I think this is laws, okay? Because this is the letter and permanence. So it's laws and conversation about the new person or the new government. Okay, so I think in September, after like almost like a dark eclipse in August or something, we start to really stop and think about the laws, because the new election, if it happens, right, the regular elections for, let's say, Senate and so forth, happen in November. So considering that right before this, we have like removing all the dark foreign influence, okay, this is September, this is August, then we have to somehow very quickly do the other, at least the local elections. And that's going to demand a lot of legislative power or something like that. Okay, so it's going to be a moment of transition. Can foreign power be foreign elites that control the global banks? I think, you know what it is, Angelica. I think what happens here, I believe, is the everything that was, because the context here is the person leaving the government and a new start and so forth. The context is how finance touches politics. Okay. So so basically, exactly. So basically what I think is that we're dealing with this local instance, because if it's true, then I'm thinking, guys, I'm remembering that reading that was kind of a big deal when I said that Muller is figuring out how this shadow banking system works. Okay, so basically, if this is what we're discussing, essentially, if this shadow banking system is connected to Trump, which is how I saw, okay, somehow, then the moment Mueller starts excavating this out, then we have to understand all, when start to like pull out the whole thing, then you have to like really think about new laws, okay, because it's not. Yeah, because it's not exactly. Ruth asked, didn't he hire? Yeah, there's some people who specialize in financial, what is it called? Money laundering and those kinds of things, like tracing money and stuff like that. Because somebody asked, oh, it's like the Panama Papers. But what I saw is not like the Panama Papers. It's almost like how are the Panama Papers? It's almost like the system behind these dealings. Because it's almost like the Panama Papers are the receipts, let's say this, okay? Something like that. But what we're saying is like the system that creates these receipts. That's kind of like what I see as it, okay? The global thing. So I think there's a way, especially a lot of people say, oh, it's like the global, like it's a lot more complicated than we know. And it's not like the kind of like cartoon idea of like, oh, capitalists and their banks. Not like that. It's bigger. It's something like, you know what I mean? It's a little bit like, it's something that's not even in the books. Okay. It's like these shadow banks that we don't know about, or like how shadow banks, basically, essentially. Okay. I think that's what it is. And this network of, LLCs in islands and all, basically those, how these things operate to hide all this money, and how is the system set up? And I feel like that's where we're at. But I feel like if anything, I don't know how to, I have to do more of a like case by case aspect. Okay, for example, tech stocks. I have to do Bitcoin. I have to do all these different things, because then that's when we begin to see a pattern. Because what we're seeing here, I think it's a little bit more on the macro level, in the sense of like how how politics affects the economy. Okay, and how this like sentiment affected by politics is going to affect the overall market, okay, in a way. So I feel like, in a way, this is like, I find is helpful, because I feel like the more we understand context, the better prepared we are. Sort of like how, for example, it's like we had to look at how mortgages were inflated in order to understand how the financial collapse happened last time. Okay, so this similarly, even though this is not necessarily an economic, like if you think that politics is not necessarily economic, there's a political element to how the financial manipulation is happening. Like there's websites like Zero Hedge. I don't know if you're familiar with, but they're like kind of like outright-ish financial news. So it's like there's definitely like exactly derivatives. Oh, I'll tell you guys, like, and I mean, this is just my opinion. I'm not accusing Citi of anything. It's not bad, or like I think this is not anything major. But I remember when I was at Citi, I took a class. There was a lot of great classes there, and it was actually pretty good in working environment in many ways. And I think it was either corporate accounting or corporate finance. And in the middle of the class, it lasted 2 days. Somebody asked, what happens to the derivatives? How are they accounted? Like, how do they go in the books? Because this was a class about how to read financial state, like the Citi balance sheet and so forth. And so the answer, and this was a teacher, I mean, it wasn't a secret or anything. And she's like, well, it's not accounted, really. It's only put into the balance sheet after it defaulted 60 days. So basically there were all these hundreds of transactions in derivatives that were never in the books. They were only in the books, the official books, after people started defaulting. So this is why it was so hard to track. So in a way, I'm not saying that Bitcoin, for example, is like this. It's difficult to say how these things happen. So what I mean is that, how to say it, volatility and making a lot of money happens in when people find loopholes. Okay. So what that means is that there's a lot of stuff that we don't know. And when we find out, like, I feel like the gap rules, meaning the accounting rules, changed after the financial crisis because of those kinds of things. I'm sure now you can't just trade derivatives the same way you used to, because you had all this freedom to kind of like create this financial, what they used to call, was it instruments? I forgot what it was. I don't know the terms. So the same way, okay, there's going to be a lot of stuff that we find out after the fact, and then the laws and the accounting terms will have to be changed. And a lot of the conversation in technology that relates to finance, okay, there's a lot of conversation about blockchain and all those things. It's like, oh, decentralized financial system. Decentralized financial system, I'm sorry, is another word for money laundering. Okay, when you can't trace where the money is coming from, when you don't know where it came from or where it's going, that's money laundering to me. I'm sorry, however you want to put it, you want to call it cute or whatever, but I don't think, you know what I mean? So exactly. This is why regulations, exactly. And why regulations are important, because in the end, it's the little people that pay. You know what I mean? Because if people have their retirements in the stock market and the stock market crashes, it's like, hello. So that's what's difficult. Okay. So anyway, so guys, what I was going to say. So that's that. But I feel like this is, you know, this tells us a lot. I feel like there would be now what I have to do going forward for next readings related to the economy is to focus more on specific areas. Okay. And I almost feel like this is actually not that interesting. I mean, I don't know if you find it interesting, but I think out of a lot of the readings I've done, this is not the most interesting. You know, because maybe it's too abstract, or like I just have to do like one on, for example, go back. Exactly. Yeah, Ruth, we're going to have to look like there's going to have to be a lot of regulations, a lot of different things. Okay. Where it's like basically everybody's going to understand that we could not go on with a system like this anymore. It's unsustainable for whatever reason, right? For so many reasons. So there's going to have to be a lot of conversation about a lot of things. And I think that's going to be true. And Elizabeth Warren, Angelica asks, what is the name of the senator called Pocahontas by Trump? Elizabeth Warren. Yeah, she has a lot to say. There's so much up in the air, guys, about the election. So what else? So I feel like, okay, that's that. Okay. Now we have 12 minutes. Okay. Yeah. So guys, I could try to do one quick reading because I still have energy to do it if you want, but like I could do maybe one quick reading on someone like Mnuchin. Can I do a quick Mnuchin? Is it too, I don't know if I have time. Mnuchin would be a good one. So what's going to happen to Mnuchin? And the last column is going to be, let's say, Mnuchin in the last half of 2018. Okay, the center in between. Angelica, that the question is too specific. Can he kill the US dollar? I don't know. You know what? This is like, it's too specific. Okay, let's just ask. Let me just ask about him and see what it shows. And then, because those kinds of questions, it's like, I don't think one person, he's not God, okay? He can't kill, like one person can't just do something like this. So I think we have to ask is like, A, what happens to the dollar? And then B, what happens to the person? And then kind of like a puzzle, we connect those kinds of things, okay? So let's see. I'm gonna close my eyes, guys. I'm not gonna like look at the comments too much because we don't have a lot of time. So let's look at Mnuchin, okay? What's going on, Steve Mnuchin, between now and December of 2018 and his relationship to the U.S. economy. Mnuchin, what's happening with him and the relationship with the economy. Steve Mnuchin, Steve Mnuchin. Steve Mnuchin, Steve Mnuchin. Steve Mnuchin, Steve Mnuchin. Steve Mnuchin, Steve Mnuchin. Steve Mnuchin, Steve Mnuchin, Steve Mnuchin. Okay, so. Oh, oh my God. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Oh, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Steve Mnuchin. Oh my God. I like him so much. Steve Mnuchin is so great. I really like that guy. Oh my God. No, not him. No, not him. Mnuchin. Oh my God. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. He's such a nice guy. So this is like, this is almost like, I also feel like this is a smaller, in a lower tone of like the justice upside down. So like wrong decision leads to an end. So like other external effects like lead to his ending. So I'm so sorry. Oh, look, a letter. I wonder what that is. Oh, oh my God. Oh, I'm so sorry. He's like, couldn't happen to a nicer person. Oh my God. Oh. Oh my God. No kidding. Corruption? Jesus Christ. Are you kidding? Oh my God. No, Steve Mnuchin, no way. No way. Oh my God. No. Whoa. Oh, look, guilty. I'm so sorry. Oh my God. I think there's been a huge mistake. Steve Mnuchin is like the most honest person. He cares about people. You know what I mean? He invites everybody to private airplanes, like that he charges on the government's dime. Okay. Oh my God. Poor thing. People are, you know how like I hate the argument that people are like, oh my God, these people are just jealous because we're rich. They think like they're so jealous. They're just so angry. Okay, so this is hope and reputation. Okay. So his like a star or his fame and his reputation. Okay, what's gonna happen? Sad, sad. He's gonna get a little letter. A little letter. Is gonna talk about what he's done with some money. Alrighty. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Wah, 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 wah. So, so it looks like this is a person doing the wrong works. Okay, he's done some shady things with money, and then what happens is guilty. Guilty is charged. Okay, I'm sorry, Stephen. No way. What? Oh my God, he's right there with Martin Luther King. He's like a wonderful. Oh my God, he's a. Whoa, whoa, no. He's done a lot for people. It's terrible. Oh my, so unfair. So unfair. Fake news, right? Fake news. It's so benevolent. Oh my God, he cares about people. That's all, So, okay, his reputation, or he's also in the middle of the night. He gets a letter that says, you're guilty because you have done bad things with money. Okay. Okay. So this is the country. Okay. Happy country, public, happy society. People are happy that he died. I'm sorry. I don't think he died necessarily, but basically that his ending is public. Also, this could also mean that. Okay, so people are happy. The country rejoices that he's died. He's like, it's over, I think. Okay. And this is like a person who can't sleep because of a gift. I think what this means is like, I have begun to see this card in the context of the Trump readings as corrupt money. Okay, like a chunk of money of some sort, because it connects to the other guilty card. Okay, I'll show you guys. But here together, it's like he has a public ending through or because of gifts. And I think in this case, it means corrupt money because he can't sleep at night thinking of the gifts. Okay. And here is a quid pro quo. This could be him. Okay. Quid pro quo with money. This confirms what the other one said. Okay. I'm going to go a little faster, guy, because it's almost over. So this is like divisions and corruption. Okay. So it's almost like, I feel like either he got special kickbacks or something like that, okay, because of the quid pro quo. because of the division, special division. Yes, Jaretta. He's like, Steve Mnuchin and Jaretta, they are a couple at ADX Florence. They love each other. At ADX Florence, they love each other. Imagine they're a couple, Jaretta and Steve. They built a calculator at ADX Florence. Okay. Oh my God. Yes, another trust. You're right. Exactly. Oh my God. Okay. No, guys, I have to. Okay, I have to because it's like soon. Okay. So guy corrupt money, quid pro quo, division. So I feel like because like either he made things better for the division, like some people, okay, had a quid pro quo, that's corruption. And this is like aggressive, okay, news. This was found out by a good person. This is a good guy. Oh, you know what this could be? It doesn't have to be a good guy. It could be a loyalist. This makes sense in this context. So I feel like he got money because he was part of a loyal group. Or he got, this makes perfect sense actually. He tilted things in a certain way to benefit the people that were his friends, or like, you know what I mean? Those kinds of things. Now, just looking at all of this together, sorry, we have 3 minutes. Okay, so I'm gonna, okay. If it turns, okay, so this is like, you see like a letter of an ending. Let's look at this, look at the center, guys. So the letter about an ending related to his corruption, okay? His reputation and his public reputation is affected. There's a public ending because of the guilt, like the shady money he received. And he's guilty because here, the bottom row, he's guilty because he received this money from or through loyalists, okay? So that, oh my God, Diane, guys, this is kind of a big deal. Now this reminds me. Did you know that Rick Gates, I saw the news today that Muller is very interested in the time when Rick Gates was working as a producer. He financed some movies or something. So this could be related, actually. You're saying, Diane is saying, yeah. So anyway, so guys, so here again, like I said, his reputation is affected by a letter that says that he's guilty. The ending is going to be public because some money he received, and he has a corrupt relationships with loyalists. And then if you read the top again, you saw it before. The top is like reputation in the public eye becomes public in terms of his quid pro quo, and then a letter that ends him because of his corruption, and then he's guilty because of the gifts he received or gave to loyalists. Okay, so that's that ends the basic reading about Mnuchin. Okay, guys, so wow, that was crazy, right? That was crazy, guys. So I feel like I feel like it was good that we did Mnuchin. We have about a minute, just enough to say goodbye, but I feel like this was very interesting in terms of Mnuchin, because I feel like it makes sense, like, right? I feel like the whole thing, it's almost like, I wish the economy was a little bit more like, had more specificity, but I think it's like, it's those kinds of things for us. It's like we do little by little, and then things sort of come together. Exactly. We have to build more prisons for these guys. But I think we should like find out more, you know, next time maybe I'll do more like what Muller is going to find. I mean, I think this answered. Like you know what I think too, you know how he was a treasure of the campaign, and everybody, Muller is going to look into every single person who worked for Trump. And if he worked for Trump, he knows, like he knows where the money is going. Like, you know, who he has he keeps track of everything. Like who got the money, how, and stuff like that. Okay. Has he been interviewed? I don't know. Guys. Yeah, exactly. Oh my, I can't. I have to do Gary Cohn as well. Okay. This is like those people, okay.